suggested the CIA and Saudi Arabia, together in covert operations, has been trying to overthrow Assad and institute a regime change in Syria that would work in favor of U.S. foreign policy, and that this destructive policy brought ISIS and Russia to the table, causing a proxy war that has killed 600,000 people and displaced 10 million. MSNBC's Morning Joe.
Fuck. Shit.
By Columbia University professor Jeffrey Sachs. Sometimes truth makes a startling and unwelcome appearance on mainstream media and shines a small beacon of light on all the deception and lies. Segment airing a pre-recorded in-studio interview with Leon Panetta. Panetta was not only the Secretary of Defense.
This is getting on my fucking nerves.
Under Obama, he was also the White House Chief of Staff under Bill Clinton and the Director of the CIA from 2009 to 2011, also under Obama. So this guy is about as corrupt and in bed with the deep state as you can get. Here's the exchange with Mika Brzezinski and Columbia University professor Jeffrey Sachs. And remember, Mika is the daughter of former National Security Advisor under Carter, Zbigniew Brzezinski.
Much more complicated. The other major change in international affairs is that for the first time in all of human history, mankind is politically awakened. That's a total new reality. Total new reality. It has not been so for most of human history until the last 100 years. And in the course of the last 100 years, the whole world has become politically awakened. And no matter where you go, politics is a matter of social engagement. And most people know what is generally going on in the world, and are consciously aware of global iniquities, inequalities, lack of respect, exploitation. Mankind is now politically awakened and stirring. The combination of the two, a diversified global leadership, politically awakened masses, makes a much more difficult context for any major power, including currently the leading world power, the United States.
So there's probably no biased journalism or CFR Trilateral Commission special interest crap going on here. Yeah, right. Here's the clip.
So Jeffrey Sachs, chime in. This is very different than just a war between two countries. This is as convoluted as it gets and could get out of control. I don't think people might really conceptualize, maybe even not this president, how out of control this could escalate.
It's true, but I think we have to step back and not put this in partisan terms. This is a U.S. mistake that started 7 years ago. And I remember the day on your show when President Obama said, Assad must go. And I looked at you and Joe and I said, how's he going to do that? Where's the policy for that?
Right.
And we know they sent in the CIA to overthrow Assad. The CIA and Saudi Arabia together in covert operations tried to overthrow Assad. It was a disaster. Eventually it brought in both ISIS as a splinter group to the jihadists that went in. It also brought in Russia. So we have been digging deeper and deeper and deeper. What we should do now is get out and not continue to throw missiles, not have a confrontation with Russia. 7 years has been a disaster under Obama, continuing under Trump. This is what I would call the permanent state. This is the CIA, this is Pentagon, wanting to keep Iran and Russia out of Syria, but no way to do that. And so we have made a proxy war in Syria. It's killed 500,000 people, displaced 10 million. And I'll say predictably so, because I predicted it 7 years ago that there was no way to do this and that it would make a complete chaos. So what I would...
I like honest white guys like this guy. I like you, dude. You're an honest dude, man.
Lead to President Trump is get out.
Let me just recap what Sachs is saying here. He's saying that the U.S. government, in the form of the CIA, secretly colluded with the Saudi regime. And remember, when we're talking about the Saudis, we're really talking about Israel. So basically, he's saying the U.S., the Saudis, and Israel helped to form ISIS and empower the rebels against Syria in order to overthrow the Assad regime. Immoral foreign policy has killed 600,000 people in that region. Sachs says 500,000, but it's really 600,000. And we've displaced millions and millions of people, all under the pretext of saving people and securing our national interest. If there's one thing you can trust the U.S. government to do, it's lie. Jeffrey Sachs is exposing this whole deception, but the sheep don't even look up. They just keep on grazing in the pasture of comfort, ease, and ignorance. Hey, honey, will you pass the Pepsi, hot dogs, and chips and see what's on TV tonight? I sure will, sweetie. I'll get right to it. I just need to finish taking all my prescription drugs. All right, hurry up, though. The Walking Dead's about to start. Sachs continues.
Like his instinct told him, by the way. That was his instinct. But then all the establishment, the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Pentagon, everybody said, no, that's irresponsible. But his instinct is right. Get out. We've done enough damage, 7 years. And now we really risk a confrontation with Russia that is extraordinarily dangerous, reckless.
This guy just casually calls out the New York Times, the Washington Post, and the Pentagon, who he calls the establishment, as brain-dead sources who condemn Trump for initially wanting to leave Syria. While Sachs makes the case on why we need to get out of there and stop the destruction, MSNBC has James Stavridis, former NATO Supreme Allied Commander, tell viewers, of course, that getting out of Syria would not be a good thing to do. Because, if we get out of Syria and stop all the needless wars, the owners of the military-industrial complex just won't have as decadent a Christmas as they wanted. Here's the end of Stavridis' contention that we just can't back out of Syria, and Sachs' response.
But if we just step away from it, as attractive as that feels to us, I don't think it's the right decision, either for the country or for the international community.
I don't think it's attractive, but I think we have to understand how this happened. This happened because of us. These 600,000 are not just incidental. We started a war to overthrow a regime. It was covert. It was Timber Sycamore. People can look it up, the CIA operation.
It's still amazing to me when I hear anybody on mainstream media say things like this. If you're not familiar with Timber Sycamore, it was a classified weapons supply and training program run by the CIA and supported by various Arab intelligence services, most notably that of Saudi Arabia. Launched in 2012, it supplied money, guess where that money came from, weaponry and training to rebel forces fighting Syrian President Bashar al-Assad in the Syrian war. The program has trained thousands of rebels. President Barack Obama secretly authorized the CIA to begin arming Syria's embattled rebels in 2013.
This proxy army inside of Syria. Tonight I call on Congress again to give us additional authorities and resources to train and equip these fighters. We're speeding up training of ISIL forces.
А вы что, разве вы не понимаете, кто там воюет? Там воюют наемники. В основном. Вы знаете, что там платят деньги?
Give us additional authorities and resources to train and equip these fighters.
I guess it's not supposed to make sense. I don't know.
I've been skeptical from the get-go. We're speeding up training of ISIL forces about the notion that we were going to effectively create this proxy army inside of Syria. We must declare war on war, so the outcome will be peace upon peace.
Bin Laden. A scheme.
Fuck.
Scheme that stems from American. A scheme in the name of Islam, but in essence.
was moving too slowly, but the fall of Ramadi has galvanized the Iraqi government. So with the additional steps I ordered last month, we're speeding up training of ISIL forces, 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 including volunteers from Sunni tribes in Anbar province.
Can you tell us what the total number of trained fighters remains?
It's a small number, and the ones that are in the fight is we're talking four or five.
But the CIA had been facilitating the flow of arms from Libya to Syria for more than a year beforehand in collaboration with the UK, Saudi Arabia, and Qatar. All this, of course, is completely unconstitutional, but above all, it's immoral.
Together with Saudi Arabia, still it's shrouded in secrecy, which is part of the problem in our country. A major war effort, shrouded in secrecy, never debated by Congress, never explained to the American people, signed by President Obama, never explained. And this created chaos. And so just throwing more missiles in right now is not a response.
Look at Mika right here. She is just chomping at the bit, wanting so badly to change the topic.
My only concern...
We need to go, it's by the way, not to walk away, to go to the UN Security Council, as the Admiral says, to agree with Russia on a strategy for ending the fight. But ending the fight means that we stop trying to overthrow a government, that we stop trying to support rebels who are committed to overthrowing the government. That is where this war continues, because we to this day back rebels that are trying to overthrow a government contrary to international law, contrary to the UN Charter, contrary to common sense, contrary to practical path. We can't do it. And it's just creating ongoing crisis to the extent of facing an imminent confrontation with Russia.
So I think this is an important conversation to have.
Guys, what Sachs is saying right here does not fit the political agenda, it doesn't fit the agenda for the military-industrial complex, and it doesn't fit mainstream media's agenda. My guess is that you won't see Jeffrey Sachs on many more mainstream media propaganda shows. And sadly, we might read one day that he committed suicide with 2 bullets in the back of his head.
The John Dunn. Subscribe now.
It's Pop, Machiavelli. I'm in the studio drunk in the motherfucker. Ready to freestyle this shit. Live for all my dogs. For all my dogs out there raising hell. Just to see a young nigga raise the bell. Stepped out on the streets fresh from jail. All the police want a rag and tail. Not knowing that I stacks my mail. All these niggas wanna see me fail. That's just the intro as I sit back and rock this instrumental. After the fire comes the rain, after the president's pain. Even though we broke for the moment, all in the game. Time to make your mama military, be prepared for the buses. Similar to bitches that's scary, getting hairy, Russian visions of overpacked prisons. Billions of niggas thug living, precious, these rocks, hope they don't touch us. They pull the heater, ammunition in quick. Move it out of sound as we slide down. Let's do some clicks. They got me feeling for currency, the money, golden the cycle. Dreaming, singing season, move on, sophisticated. And it's this behavior. Top the cop, profile, snatching niggas' pages. Label them up as soon as we start. It was hard to quit. Started out drinking 40s, through the hardest shit. Goddamn, now I'm a grown man. I follow no man. Nigga got my own plan. In my hand, got the 45. I kick it live to survive, make these niggas die. While getting high, though we cry when these thugs bug. Niggas will leave in their caskets. That's what you get for being player hating bastards. Me and my clique so legit, we keep a 50 on us. Niggas know you can't touch us when they get to come against us. These niggas be defenseless and senseless, knocking niggas back on the fence. My whole clique be sick, and though we rip whole crews, niggas knew we came through drinking 22s of brew. And though we drink Hennessy's, we provide our enemies with more shit. The art of war so legit, I read My name out Machiavelli with the thug life tatted on the bottom of my belly. Can these niggas understand this? My whole family is sick, it's so scandalous. Let me introduce my clique. Castro, when he blast y'all, niggas run the hard. Napoleon will provide the game. Let me explain why Edie provide shit for the needy and take from the greedy. Gaddafi, he not sloppy and not a copy. He's the only one. Bring a gun if you want it, young. No, bring your soul to the truth. Let them know we come through in the bucket of BMW. We trouble you, the W for West Side. Niggas die when they try to infiltrate my crew. We never hide, we ride and die together. And when you see my clique, we always ride forever. Me, my whole clique is sick. We smoke this and me. Can you convince the G's that they can come against me? You can't see me on TV or live. Niggas die when they try to come against me. Never hide in my own zone, in my own dome. I'm a man, I'm a dumb. Niggas knew it once I came on. I splashed on niggas while I dashed on niggas. Once I mashed these niggas, I be bad. A nigga, it's me, Machiavelli, aka the dawn of this whole clique. Niggas, you so sick. That's my freestyle drunken flow. Just so you bitch ass niggas in the back row know. Whether it's New York or Texas, ride through in a Lexus or BMW, I trouble you throwing up forever this big old W. My double R cruise, I'm a big rap star. Rockin' the groove, niggas, where you at? Where you are is the back. In the front, when you bump this shit, I keep a gat inside my trunk, legit. Always, though I'm on probation, I still rock the nation. I don't bail, though last year I was in jail, raised hell. Until I get my mail, will I fail? Hell nah, nigga, bite my nails. I keep a manicure, though you panic, you're still gon' die. Went pocket high, smoking endo. I roll my window down, a smooth criminal. And though I pack this pound, 357-045. Will I hide, will I die, will I ride? Niggas never know why. My whole crew, a family clique. Are we sick, are we live, though we struggle to survive in this motherfucker 9-5 turn to 9-6, 9-6 turn to 9-7. I keep a 357 Mac 11. Back home I got a MO. What did I say? I'm only 14. My double O. Ride with my crew. Ride with my crew. You don't have a clue, nigga. We'll be coming for you. We hit the house of blues, acting like fools. My nigga fatal. With a gun inside the club, I keep this fucking prenatal. Had a bang inside his chest, no. Bang inside his belly, no. We talk about it, told him don't bring that gas out his belly. I say, yo, fatal, what are you crazy? Things pissing all side the front. Niggas saying, God damn, them niggas is funny as hell. What you want? You want some fun? Hell, now the niggas don't want no beef. That's why we left that motherfucker in the road, the limo, I mean. With bitches inside too. Me, I was sitting in the back, drinking on some hits. Y'all just did a dope ass show. The niggas will always remember came from Italy. Bellissimo was the call. Yeah, nigga, I got Versace, Armani, all them niggas wanna fuck with me. Y'all know I always represent my people to the fullest. Yeah, I'm that same motherfucker that took 5 bullets, counted, came out, rapping and stealing, making 5. Motherfucker records got sold millions. Platinum. I made 5 platinum shit. You know what I'm saying? Niggas can't fuck with me. 2 apocalypse, not known for playing. I took shots and gave shots, fuck the cops. Well, I stopped. I said my shit, reached the top. Niggas out there wanna do me, but it's my dick. Bad boy and Fuji's. Y'all niggas will never stop me, never drop me, never let me fall. Me, 2 apocalypse, all I know how to do is ball. My crew survive reincarnation. After I'm dead, they'll rock and roll and bring the funk to the whole nation. And you know, each one of these niggas have a gun with my name on it. You know, I spit the game so clear it's playing on it. You know, when I'm dead, my niggas will ride for me. Tell everybody, they each got a city to pick and make it all puff.